You can feel the tension building in Berea, Ohio. Not the kind of toxic, locker room breaking tension we've seen so many times from broken rosters and quarterback controversies. This is different. This is electric. Because Shedeur Sanders, yes, the rookie the media barely wanted to mention on draft night, if you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. It's putting on an off-season clinic that's making coaches, analysts, and even veteran quarterbacks stop and stare. It started quietly, like most great transformations do. Early May. Odas. Cool, gray mornings. No cameras. No fanfare. Just Shedeur, a football, and a relentless mission to silence every doubt hurled his way since he entered the league as a fifth-round pick. Because he heard the whispers. He knew the criticisms. He's not NFL ready. He's too flashy. He only looked good because of the system in Colorado. And instead of clapping back with tweets or pressers, Shedeur did what the great ones do. He went to work. The Florida sessions that changed everything. While most rookies were getting their bearings, Shedeur Sanders was already deep into private throwing sessions down in Florida. Sometimes under floodlights, sometimes in pouring rain, working on footwork, fine-tuning his release, burning defensive schemes into his brain with a tablet in one hand and a football in the other. You know how serious he was? He reportedly went days without seeing anyone outside his camp. Total blackout. No distractions. No noise. Just tape, turf, and time. That's what separates him. Not just the physical mechanics, which, by the way, are sharp, clean, and faster than anyone expected, but the discipline. The refusal to let his draft slot define him. And it's that work behind the scenes that has started to force a seismic shift in how the Browns view their quarterback room. The day the narrative shifted. Flash forward to minicamp. First rep. Tight window. 12-yard out route. Sanders zips it. Complete. Audible gasp from sideline media. Coaches nod, whisper. And it just kept happening. Rep after rep. Precision. Confidence. Mastery of the offense that veterans haven't even fully grasped. Let's be clear, these weren't just fluke moments. This was sustained brilliance in every move the ball drill, every red zone simulation, and that 77% completion rate, that wasn't some padded number from screen passes. That was the result of bold throws into tight coverage, with the kind of accuracy that makes defensive backs start yelling at each other. Critics are folding one by one. And it's not just fans taking notice. Even the staunchest doubters, analysts who made a career out of underestimating players like Shedeur, are starting to flip. Remember Chris Carter? The Hall of Famer who went on national TV and dismissed Shedeur's potential as overhyped? He's been strangely quiet since camp reports started rolling in. And Mary Kay Cabot, one of the Browns' most vocal insiders, she's now openly saying Shedeur deserves a legitimate shot at the QB1 job. Not next year. Not down the line. Now, that's how undeniable Shedeur's development has become. He's not asking for respect anymore. He's commanding it. The mental game is what sets him apart. What's blowing people away isn't just the throws. It's the processing. You see it in how he approaches film, how he calls protections, how he anticipates blitzes before they happen. That's rare for a rookie, especially one buried on the depth chart behind Flacco, Pickett, and Gabriel. And here's what Browns insiders are starting to whisper. He's already the smartest QB in the room. Now, that's not shade toward Flacco, who's got a Super Bowl ring and veteran wisdom. But Flacco's not the future. And deep down, everyone in the building knows it. What's truly wild is how quickly Sanders has adapted to Kevin Stefanski's system, which is notoriously complex and demanding. The same playbook that chewed up and spit out past Cleveland hopefuls, Shedeur is thriving in it. Leadership that can't be taught. Let's talk about intangibles for a second, because there's this narrative that Shedeur is too Hollywood, that he's cocky, that he inherited his father's confidence without earning it. That narrative? Dead. Ask his teammates. Ask the equipment staff. Ask anyone in the Browns building. They'll tell you. Shedeur Sanders is as grounded as they come. When the cameras are off, He's still first in and last out, still holding impromptu film sessions with rookies, still cracking jokes in the locker room, but locking in the second they hit the field. He's got the rare combination of charisma and command, the kind of energy that pulls a team together. That's not learned. That's not scripted. That's leadership, and it's real. The Browns can't wait anymore. So now the Browns are staring down the barrel of a decision that could define their next decade. They've got a proven veteran in Flacco, a placeholder in Pickett, and a walking headline in Sanders who, despite the media noise, is proving he's the most complete option on the board. The safe choice? Stick with Flacco or Pickett. Ride the veteran wave. Keep Shedeur in the shadows. The smart choice? Let the best quarterback play. Let the hot hand lead. Because every day they delay is a day they risk losing games they could have won. Every week they wait and see is another week fans will start chanting Shedeur's name from the stands. And don't be surprised when that chant gets louder, when it echoes through First Energy Stadium, when it starts trending every Sunday. Because Shedeur isn't just ready, he's necessary. This is more than a QB battle. It's a culture shift. Let's zoom out. What's happening in Cleveland right now isn't just about one rookie quarterback. It's about identity. It's about breaking the curse. About shaking off years of wasted potential, bad signings, and heartbreak. You can feel it shifting with every throw Shedeur makes. Every time he steps onto that field and reminds the city, you haven't seen anything like me before, and they haven't. Cleveland has never had a quarterback quite like this. Not with this blend of poise, talent, and fire. Not with this level of polish and hunger in the same package. If the Browns are serious about turning the page, about becoming more than a cautionary tale, then this is the move they make. Not in Week 10. Not when the season's already on the line. Now, this isn't hype. This isn't fan fiction. This is what happens when preparation meets talent in a moment that demands both. Shedeur Sanders didn't walk into the NFL looking for validation. He came to take over. And he's doing it, one perfect spiral at a time. So, Browns Nation, the ball's in your court. Are you going to keep waiting for the stars to align? Or are you going to realize they already have? Because there's a star under center, and he's ready to lead. You ever see a roster so crowded with quarterbacks, it feels less like a depth chart and more like an episode of Survivor? Welcome to Cleveland. On paper, the Browns have options. Veterans like Joe Flacco, who brings experience but limited ceiling. Kenny Pickett, the former first-rounder still trying to prove his relevance. Dylan Gabriel, another rookie, hyped early but fading under pressure. And then there's Shedeur Sanders, the fifth-round afterthought, who's now threatening to push them all off the board. But here's the thing nobody in that building will admit out loud. They already know who the best quarterback is. They know it in the film room. They know it on the practice field. They know it every time Shedeur walks into the huddle and teammates listen. Not just hear, listen. What was supposed to be a slow-burn development year for Sanders is now a full-blown quarterback rebellion. The coaching staff can feel it. The veterans feel it. And fans? Oh, they're already there. If Shedeur doesn't start Week 1, there might be an actual riot outside First Energy Stadium. The locker room is splitting, and that's not a bad thing. When one guy starts to separate himself with talent, leadership, and results, it doesn't matter what the initial plan was. The team starts to tilt. That's what's happening now. You got veterans coming up to reporters saying things like, that kid just gets it. Defensive linemen praising his poise. Receivers, who've caught balls from Flacco, Pickett, and Gabriel, all quietly shifting their focus to number 14 in red during practice reps. You don't build chemistry like that in a vacuum. You earn it. And Shedeur is earning it every day, one rep at a time. It's becoming clear that this isn't just a battle for the starting job. This is a full-blown power shift. And while the coaching staff might be trying to keep the lid on it, pretending like all options are open, the players aren't buying it. The coaching staff is running out of excuses. Kevin Stefanski has a tough call to make. He's known as a process guy, a stick-to-plan kind of coach, and you can respect that. But there's a difference between having a plan and being so married to it that you ignore the evidence right in front of your face. Shedeur is blowing past every developmental milestone. Reads, sharp, footwork, clean, arm talent, NFL ready, command of the offense, better than Flacco, sharper than Gabriel, cleaner than Pickett. So what's the holdup? Some say Stefanski is afraid of the optics. Starting a rookie too soon could burn him out. Others believe it's internal politics. Maybe he doesn't want to admit the front office hit the jackpot in the 5th round instead of with their prize 3rd rounder. But here's the reality. The longer Stefanski delays the inevitable, the more risk he creates. Fans are already turning. The locker room has made its choice. If he waits until week 8 to start Shedeur, it might already be too late for the team and for his job. Week 1 is a real test, and the stage is set. You know what's poetic? The Browns open the season against the Bengals. Division rivals, national spotlight, massive implications. And it just so happens that's a perfect setup for Shedeur to make his debut. Can you imagine it? All the doubt, all the media drama, all the whispers. And then he walks out onto that field and torches Cincinnati for 275 yards and 2 touchdowns? That's the kind of narrative that changes a player's legacy forever. But for that to happen, the Browns have to do something they've historically struggled with. Make the right decision at the right time. This franchise has been burned by hesitation, by trusting the wrong guy too long, by refusing to pivot until the season is already a disaster. They've got a chance to flip that script. But the clock's ticking. The mental game is the true advantage. We've talked about Shedeur's arm, his command of the playbook, his leadership. But let's not overlook his biggest asset, his mind. The guy doesn't blink. Under pressure, he doesn't panic. He recalibrates. During one practice session, reports said he fumbled a snap, recovered it, and still completed a 15-yard pass downfield on the run. That's instinct. That's control. That's someone who doesn't let the moment own him. Quarterback is a psychological position. You got to outthink defenses, silence crowds, command grown men. That's not just something you develop. It's something you either have or you don't. Shedeur has it, and it's obvious. The fans are already there, and the franchise better catch up. If you skim Brown's Twitter or Reddit or Instagram or even Tailgate Talk, you'll see the same thing everywhere. Start Shedeur. They're not asking anymore. They're demanding it because the city is tired waiting, tired of recycled veterans, tired of watching talent rot on the bench while safe choices blow winnable games. Cleveland isn't afraid of risk. They're afraid of regret. And not starting Shedeur Sanders would be the definition of regret. The momentum is real. The campaign is happening in real time. And every day Sanders strings together another highlight. That tidal wave of support gets stronger. At some point, even the most stubborn decision makers will have to listen. And if you don't think this kid's watching at all, think again. Shedeur isn't oblivious. He sees the noise. He hears the criticism. And if you think he's not using every last piece of it as motivation, then you don't know who he is. He grew up in the fire. Media scrutiny isn't new. Pressure isn't new. He's been doubted, second-guessed, and criticized since high school, and every single time, he's responded the same way, with results. He's not here for participation trophies. He's here to win, to lead, to shut people up the only way that matters on the field. This is the future, not just for Shedeur, but for Cleveland. Let's stop pretending this is about one training camp or one rookie season. This is about the next 5 to 10 years of Cleveland Browns football. They've stumbled upon something rare, a quarterback with not just talent, but the mindset to take this franchise somewhere it's never been. The longer they wait, the more they risk. You can't protect him forever. And frankly, he doesn't need protecting. What he needs, what the team needs, is clarity, a declaration, a commitment. Because once you name Shedeur Sanders as your starter, you're not just naming a QB. You're sending a message to every player, every coach, and every fan. We believe in winning. And we believe this is a guy to lead us there. The NFL preseason isn't usually a marquee event. For most teams, it's about ironing out wrinkles, testing depth, and praying nobody gets injured. But for the Cleveland Browns this year, the preseason might as well be the Super Bowl. Because for Shedeur Sanders, it's not just a warm-up, it's a public proving ground. One nationally televised drive, one highlight reel throw, one wow moment, and the entire narrative changes. Every reporter, every analyst, every doubter who called him too raw or too arrogant, they'll be forced to pivot. And let's be honest, they're itching for a redemption arc. The media loves a good takedown, sure, but you know what they love even more? A comeback story. And Shedeur is about to hand it to them. The shadow of draft night is still lingering. Let's not forget how we got here. 5th round. Picked behind quarterbacks with lower stats, weaker arms, and far less poise under pressure. Shedeur didn't just slip, he got buried. And everyone knew it had nothing to do with talent. The whispers were everywhere. He only played well because of his dad. He's too media trained. He doesn't want to be coached. And now he's outworking everyone. He's showing up early, staying late, and cutting through coverages like he's been in the league for years. That draft night snub, it lives rent-free in his head, and he's turned it into rocket fuel. Every throw in preseason is a statement. Every first down is a flex. He's not just trying to win a job. He's trying to rewrite the scouting process in real time. The coaching staff is running out of rope. At some point, Kevin Stefanski is going to have to look in the mirror and ask himself the question every coach dreads. Am I playing the best player or just the safest one? Because here's the brutal truth. If he goes with Gabriel or Pickett or a past their prime Flacco, and things start off rocky, the second-guessing won't be subtle. It'll be deafening. Fans will boo. Reporters will swarm. And Shedeur? He'll be sitting on the bench, helmet on, eyes locked in, waiting for his number to be called. And when it is, he's not going to just play. He's going to take over. There's no universe where a performance like his in camp, 77% completion rate, 0 interceptions, perfect 2-minute drills, doesn't translate into game day magic. The only thing standing between Shedeur Sanders and the QB1 job is hesitation. And hesitation kills careers. The veterans feel it, and some aren't handling it well. Let's talk locker room tension. You got Joe Flacco, a former Super Bowl MVP, sitting in meetings with a 21-year-old who's taking mental notes faster than half the staff. Flacco's seen this before. He knows what it looks like when the new guy is really that good. And while he's saying the right things to the media, you can feel the friction. Then there's Dylan Gabriel, the supposed future of the team. Remember, he got more guaranteed money. He had the backing of the front office on draft day. He was supposed to be the project with promise. Now, he's playing tight, forcing throws, looking over his shoulder after every snap. Because once you lose a room, you don't get it back. And right now, the team is gravitating toward one guy, and it's not Gabriel. Media manipulation and the twisting narrative. Let's not ignore how fast the media can spin the wheel. 1 week, they're calling Shedeur cocky for wanting to be drafted into the right system. The next, they're praising him for having standards and showing emotional maturity. Funny how that works, right? But here's where it gets interesting. The same analysts who once dogged his attitude are now quietly shifting gears. They're throwing qualifiers like, well, maybe we misjudge him, or he just needed the right environment. Translation? They're preparing for the apology tour. If Shedeur balls out in the preseason, expect a full 180 feature stories, sit-down interviews. We always knew he had it nonsense. And you know what? Shedeur is not going to say a word. He'll just keep throwing darts, stacking wins, and letting the receipts pile up. Fans don't just want him, they need him. Cleveland has seen more quarterback experiments than any franchise should legally be allowed to attempt. They've been through the heartbreak, the hype, the crash and burn cycles. And now, they're starved for something real. Shedeur Sanders is real. He represents hope, swagger, change. He's not just another arm. He's a shift in identity. A symbol of finally getting it right. Fans already wear his jersey. Kids in high school are copying his dropbacks. Every time he talks, clips go viral. Cleveland hasn't had a quarterback with this kind of gravity since maybe ever. And here's the part no one in the front office is prepared for. If they bench him, the fan base will turn on them, not on him. The burden of expectation isn't a weight, it's fuel. Some guys fold under pressure. Not Shedeur. He eats it. Every bad headline, motivation. Every time someone says fifth round pick, he smirks because he knows something the rest of the league is just starting to figure out. This isn't a fluke. This is the beginning of something massive, something cultural, something that's going to stretch far beyond Cleveland if they don't lock it down now. We're talking jersey sales, national endorsements, Monday Night Football invites. This is the kind of player who puts your franchise back on the map, and it's all within reach. If they don't fumble it, a window they can't afford to miss. Franchises miss windows all the time. They overthink. They overcoach. They cling to what's safe. But lightning doesn't strike often. And right now, it's striking in Berea, Ohio. Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback in camp. The locker room knows it. The fans know it. Hell, even the beat reporters are dropping subtle hints. So what's left? Only the decision that matters most. It's time for Cleveland to do what it's never done before. Get out of its own way. Because history is watching. And so is Shedeur. The hype machine engages. The next day, ESPN leads with it. Did the Browns find their guy? FS1 is practically foaming at the mouth. We told you he had the factor. Social media? A Shedeur highlight reel is trending within hours. The fans no longer want to play. They're demanding it. Shedeur is not just rising. He's forcing the Browns to rethink everything they thought they knew. And this is just the beginning.